Chip Roy was on with Glenn Beck, and you could, yeah. I'm sure you can guess. Really, Biden? Nothing like a serious situation where innocent civilians are getting killed for a little like cucked up, soft spun clip art bullshit where they're standing like there's a Ukraine flag and an Israeli flag. Here's Chip Roy about to give, I guess, Glenn I don't know if he's there to give him a back massage or he's going to choke him out or both. It's none of my business, whatever you like. And Biden obviously can see both of them there. And he's got a who farted look on his face because, and if anybody wants to know, just for the record, it was Glenn. Now let's see. There we go. Please open like a normal thing. Skipper now, just open the thing. Proceed anyway, dummy. Ooh, that's weird. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that was Glenn. I think it was Glenn. That said, they seem shocked, surprised, and upset. Yeah, always grab a good satirical NSL bit to show your seriousness. Exactly. They seem shocked and surprised that Biden's going to tie Israel aid to Ukraine aid, which is smart. And yeah.
Chip Roy.
You can't call him Charles. He's a grown man. And unless his name is Chipley.
Glenn, how are you, sir?
Well, probably about as good as you are.
Oh, so you're both bloated.
What are we to make? First of all, what the hell happened?
They nominated Scalise, and he went down on the first round because none of these fuckers like each other, and none of them can actually govern or want to.
Well, first of all, I am good because I have faith in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and we're.
Listen how Glenn laughs at that. Back up.
Well, first of all, I am good because I have faith in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and we're all on this planet for a brief spell.
Yes.
Okay?
We're all on the planet for a brief spell. It doesn't matter. I have a religious belief that says I'm going to get a cloud and a harp and a cookie and a kiss on the forehead when I die. So who fuck cares if somebody dies? Who cares? I mean, we're all going to die anyways. It's just a matter of time. So, if shit totally goes south, it'll be over. Unless you're one of the people who suffered through the murder of their children and then their own murder. Yeah, sure, Chip.
Mm-hmm. Second of all, this too shall pass. This country has gone through a lot. We've got to figure out what to do now to change its course. You and I have talked about it repeatedly on this show with your.
Yes, I understand. You want to go back to more COVID deaths, a president who pals around with dictators, and I guess people like Dennis Rodman being suggested for ambassador.
For listeners, we are going to have a vote today, led by, obviously, it's not just Matt Gaetz. Let's be clear. There's at least 6 or 7, maybe 8 guys.
8 guys
who reflect the frustration of the American people.
Yes, everything about them kind of categorically embodies everything that's frustrating. People will pay for groceries with a check and with a dead pen, and somebody in the fast lane driving slow, and somebody in the slow lane driving like a fucking maniac. People who come over without signaling. Weird bumps on your skin you can account for, but turn out to be nothing, but give you about 3 days of stress. The taking off of the Band-Aid and the when putting a new one on, sometimes they accidentally flap over and stick to themselves, and you try to pull them apart, and you're going to use it because you don't want to waste a Band-Aid, but it's not gonna. Yeah, that's basically all those moments. If they had fucking legs, it'd be these 8 dickheads
who believe the status quo is unacceptable.
Yeah, democracy, rule of law, functioning government, environmental protections, labor laws, all that shit's got to go.
And I 100% agree with them. We have a
Well, yeah, obviously the status quo, one of the things he hates most about the status quo is all the disagreement. So the future holds nothing but 100% agreement. Me and these 8 assholes are in 100% agreement. Everybody else thinks we're a bunch of shitheads, though.
tactical difference on timing.
It's a tactical difference.
I don't believe that you yank the coach at the beginning of the fourth quarter. You play the coach through the fourth quarter. And to me, that's sometime through into December when we continue the play that we're trying to do on the Ukraine issue and on the spending and the appropriations bills that we all asked to get done. Yes,
No, you didn't all ask. 12 of you held the speaker hostage until he agreed to that bullshit. All of you didn't do this, or you wouldn't have had the debacle in January at all. There never would have had, if all Republicans agreed with this fucking ploy and this idea, you would have had a speaker on the first round. You don't even agree amongst yourselves.
September 30th. But in truth, that's only happened 4 times in 50 years of my lifetime. I want to play this out. That being said.
Yeah, I love all the game analogies.
Let me just tell you, if you'll indulge me for 1 minute.
Same.
Yes, believe me, Stu's already nodded off or is knitting. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I mean, his hands are done. I mean, if they were lower, I'd think he was masturbating. Where is it? But
maybe 2. This is the speech that I read to the Republican conference this morning.
Oh, God damn it, he's taking the paper off a straw. Of course he is.
I said that no matter what happens with the speaker at the moment, if nothing changes, we will be campaigning on March 31st with a leading candidate who has a number of variables, just to put it mildly. We will be campaigning on March 31st with the following: an extension of the debt ceiling until January 25 of $4 trillion, done with Democrats. A Ukraine funding of an additional X billion dollars, because that's what the Republican establishment wants, unless we fight it. Probably well over 50 billion, Glenn, if we don't fight it.
Jesus. Jesus. And of course, it's nice that they bring up his Lord and Savior's name, which you're not supposed to bring up, using it in, what's it called? Vain. Oh, yeah. So bringing me back to Glenn Beck and his fucking Saddam Hussein interior decorating style, where he's like, can't imagine sending $50 billion to Ukraine for a hot war that's been going on for, 564 fucking days, or whatever the current count is. And yeah, all the things that he's really upset about, and he added to his little fucking special, which unfortunately CSL and I both watched major portions of, where he was playing footage of people being slaughtered and all this kind of stuff, playing on people's heartstrings, trying to align himself with Israel, saying, if you must share this program with other people. And I'm like, fuck you. But apparently when that happens to Ukrainians, I mean, fuck them. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, and it's not our problem. Right, CSL? Jesus Christ. Like, I have to say, as horrifying as watching that footage was, knowing that after almost every time he played some footage of a family about to be slaughtered, he would literally play footage of a family talking amongst themselves and then go quiet. And he goes, this is the moment when they know the killers have entered the house. That whole family was murdered or whatever. Like, fuck you. And then he comes back on repeatedly and says, you've got to share this program with people. You've got to let them know, because the Blaze is the only place that they're going to, I'm like, oh, what a piece of shit. So, but meanwhile, shit like that was happening all over Ukraine in, the beginning of 2022, March, April, May, before people had a chance to flee or before the Russians retreated. After we found out about Bucha, bodies and kitchens mined or rigged with hand grenades so that somebody came over and found the dead body of their relative, turns it over, and they get blown to pieces. And Glenn's like, I don't know. It's expensive. This is expensive.
Set, unpaid for. $16 billion of disaster package that was just passed on a CR, not paid for.
Yeah, it's disaster relief, fucko. A lot of it's Florida.
Even if we do the appropriations bills, go to conference, and in the 50-50 chance we don't get jammed and rolled with an omnibus bill, maybe we get the 1% cut to spending that the debt deal got done.
Nope.
Maybe. But
Nope. You fucked up, son. You punted. And whoever's going to be speaker next is not going to kowtow to that rule. They've already said they're not going to let that carry it. If they have to make a deal with Democrats to pass a fucking omnibus and fund the government, they're going to do it because they're not going to bend over and let you have some stupid fucking rule where one person can bring you to the floor because it's a waste of goddamn time. They don't trust. They're not going to put the fucking speakership in Matt Gaetz's hands again.
Blow past it with $100 billion of supplemental spending. The Inflation Reduction Act remains fully intact. The IRS remained 80% expanded and intact. We will likely not have impeached Mayorkas. It's 50-50.
You're never going to impeach Mayorkas, motherfucker. You're not going to. It's not going to happen. Don't add this to a list. This goes to that fucking, that pie in the sky, stroke of the pen fallacy. We could totally do this. No, you fucking can't.
At best, that we will impeach Biden, depending on what happens with the evidence.
Never happen. Here's what's going to happen with the evidence. People are going to go, this isn't evidence. This is just information. None of this information points to a crime. Please roll this up and stuff it up your ass.
We will not have full COVID reckoning. We will not have
full COVID reckoning. What do you want to do? Put Donald Trump on trial for allowing the greatest bioweapon attack on the United States in history? Because fucking seriously, what's the reckoning? Are you going to blame Biden for lockdowns that started under Trump that Biden brought to a close? What reckoning? Fuck off. Explain yourself. You fucking asshole.
Pass a 10-year balanced budget. The DOD will likely still be woke and no accountability for Afghanistan.
What's the accountability? We're not there anymore, motherfucker. We're out. It was always going to be ugly. That's why Donald Trump was too much of a fucking chicken to get out. Because everybody told him, look, no matter what day we announce we're leaving, it goes south. Some people are going to die. And he's like, well, I'll do it my second term, but we'll tell them everybody we're leaving, but we're keeping Bagram. What? How do you leave and stay? How do you leave and stay in the biggest military base in the region? You don't. You split and you blow the fucking place to smithereens. That's what you do.
The DOJ will likely still be weaponized. And importantly, the Senate will try to confuse everybody with a shiny object, crappy border security package.
Right. We can't allow any border security improvements to happen because they won't fund Trump's wall, even if they will be more effective and actually deal with stuff. And meanwhile, excuse me 1 second. I have to show you guys something because this is fucking, let's see. 1.9 trillion in goods, Texas border. Here's their answer. Remember how I told you that they're like, we gotta stop the border. We gotta close the border, seal the border, border. Okay, check this out. This is from Bloomberg just a couple days ago. Absurd inspections halt 19,000 trucks at Texas-Mexico border. Goods valued at $1.9 billion have been halted at border. President López Obrador criticized border crackdown on Monday. Texas Governor Abbott's border security crackdown is clogging up commercial crossings, leaving at least 19,000 trucks loaded with $1.9 billion of goods stuck waiting in Mexico. These are all going into Texas, by the way. This is stuff that Texas wants or will be brought in and maybe move around the region nearby. A lot of the shit goes by boat outside and around up to the northeast, and those goods come off the boats there, or they'll go, if they're for California, they'll just go across the crossing there. So the idea that somehow this is like, I guess this is just Abbott admitting that Texas is the conduit for fentanyl getting into the United States, because whatever the fuck. Anyways, absurd quote, safety inspections are causing wait times as long as 24 hours in lines that stretch for 23 kilometers, 14 miles. Mexico's biggest trucking group said October 8th, the holdup makes it exceedingly difficult for businesses to manage supply chains. So that would be the supply chains would be the main cause of our inflation pressures on the economy. And oh, holy shit! Wait, let me hold on. Chat room. I haven't been shittering lately, and I gotta show you something. All right, you guys know how much I hate to gloat, but there was an article this morning that I was like, you motherfuckers. Let's see if I can find the yeah, here you go. Jonathan Levin, columnist at Bloomberg. All right, let's start with this. Remember how I've been telling you guys it ain't monetary inflation, it's supply shock, and it's directly caused by COVID, and you cannot have an equation that explains the economic system worldwide, much less in the United States, without factoring in that giant X, right? All right, the chat room. Hold on one second. I got to move this over so you can see it. Have I not, for fucking 3 goddamn years, been saying this? And there was an article this morning on Bloomberg that I was like, I literally sat up in bed and I was like, you motherfucker. Check this out. What I've learned from watching Powell's inflation fight. The pace of price increases has slowed drastically from its June 2022 peak of 9.1%. I picked up some lessons observing the Fed along the way. Jonathan Levin is a columnist focused on U.S. markets economics, previously worked for Bloomberg journalist, U.S., Brazil, Mexico. He's a CFA charter holder. So he's a smarty pants, and he's in on this shit, and da-da-da. 19 months ago, he started writing a column about inflation. Been working on it since the Great Recession. Naturally, I made mistakes in my early columns, overplaying the parallels with the 1970s, for instance, and exaggerating the threat of a wage price spiral. Yo, fuck, man, can you feel my fucking skin catching fire? Okay, wait. I'd like to think I've learned a few things about 21st century central banking and inflation along the way. Oh, yeah? Well, such as? Here's a rough list of my key takeaways so far. And I don't have to go through the whole article. He just does it right. It's like a giant yeah, but. The fucking third. Oh, fuck you. Oh, God. All right, here it is. Shit, this is going to make me nuts. But I look, you guys know I enjoy being right. And I don't like somebody to yuck my yum by making being right so fucking. All right. Here's a rough list of my key takeaways so far. Wait, hold on. Let me scroll this down just a touch. There you go. The real world is too complicated to model. Oh, God. All right, a lot of debate around inflation tends to focus on variables such as the strength of the labor market, the Phillips curve analysis, the size of the budget, the fiscal theory of price level, or even, in certain corners of social media, the growth of the money supply, the quantity theory of money, or money printer go burr, those assholes. All of those variables matter, of course, but I can say fairly confidently that none of them were the driving force behind the most recent bout of inflation. A global pandemic was. Then Russia invaded Ukraine, and it exacerbated the problem. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This motherfucker, Harvard educated, and he's just coming to the conclusion that I have been telling every fucking body for years. And I want to say this moment, if I may, this moment goes out to all those fuckers out there who say, you're not an economist. What do you know? What, and I'm like, well, I do know I just lived through the greatest pandemic on earth, on record in terms of its impact on life and the economies and certainly the supply chains of the world, because there hasn't been one since the global supply chain became an actual fucking thing. And like, could you, all right, that's all. I'm just leaving it there. I was right again. So I'm not wasting your time, and I'm glad you're here watching the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, and good on you for figuring this shit out. That shit, I was a dick. This morning, I was like, there are a few things that, like, when I read them or whatever, I sit up and go, get out of here. And this morning I was just like stomping around, and like nobody was in the house. So I was just like walking around the house going, what the fuck? Yeah, dumbass. I was talking to myself like I talk to you guys, and that's almost concerning. But I just wanted, I gotta say, that one was like, I don't even know why that should be a shocking thing for somebody to realize. He probably did watch my show. You're probably right. Because I do mention Bloomberg quite a bit, because I feel like they're one of the sources I wouldn't normally go to. So when we talk about economics, I go to places like, that the Wall Street guys go to, like Market Watch and Bloomberg and shit like that, to verify that my numbers and what I'm hearing is relatively true, right? Compared to, I have a sounding board against it. I'm not going to like fucking, just whatever Robert Reich says and run with it, right? I balance all of those things together. And so yeah, they're big with banking. Exactly. They should fucking well know better. Hal scared our cats when he did his live show from Virginia. Sorry, Carl. That was a long distance cat scare. I'm very proud of myself. Anyways, back to where we were with this asshole and the backup of 24-hour line to get into Texas with goods because of Greg Abbott and these assholes. And the Democrats and any sensible Republican wants to have comprehensive immigration reform and a better border policy so that they can better track and by the way, coordinate with the Mexican government to track vehicles back further from the wall, back further from the barrier, so they can know what's coming. All right, let me give you an example. There is, and some people may have driven this, if you've ever driven from LA to Vegas, which I do all the time, there is a stop station where you have to slow down, and they basically just wave you through. And there's no arms on the gates. They don't bother because it's just a waste of energy. But there's a green light and a red light, and when there's a lot of traffic, they open up all of them. Some of them, sometimes there's only 2 lanes, and sometimes there's not even a person in it, and you just roll through and you go, nobody's here. Okay, and I keep going. And everybody's like, how would they stop somebody? How do they know? What, they just stand there and go, bad car, pull over? No, they know miles ago that you were a problem. They know from the state, if the state police are looking for you and you've got drugs in your trunk or you've hit an Amber Alert thing or whatever, it automatically, they can see your license plate from at one of the sensors 2 miles back, and they know you're coming. Yeah, it's a fruit stop station, but they use it for everything else. And so when they do catch a car, that car was caught a long time ago. Does that make sense? The border isn't the moment where you go, well, I got to look sketchy. Like, right? It's just stupid. The same thing should be true of our southern border. We shouldn't have to check a truck and go, I don't know, fucking like it's an Easter egg hunt. We're just like, don't. That sounds more hollow than the others. Open it up. You have to coordinate south of the border with law enforcement down there. Yeah, I wouldn't call it Big Brother because it's not like they're singing in your bedroom. That's what the Big Brother reference is about. Him peeking at you while you're, whatever. But when you're riding on the road and you're a licensed driver and you have a license on the front and back of your car, it's not exactly Big Brother that a camera or a person sees you driving. Like, I've never known what the fucking distinction between a camera watching your car on the road and a person doing it. Is it valid? Were you speeding? Yes. But there wasn't a real human standing there in the middle of the fucking desert, right? Just like, like it was like it's a distinction without a difference. You're not
link that to Ukraine and say,
oh, shut the fuck up, Chip. So they know, and we should know. If you're worrying about giant trucks carrying fentanyl and other shit hidden in their stuff, you should know. Yes, Hal to 100,000 by Christmas. I agree. We'll get there. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, and share the show right now. Let people know we're there. Where'd that fart sound? It was delayed. My thing was reloading, and it just did it when I crossed my arms. Luckily, it was exactly one of those. It wasn't like, I didn't even know I had that sound, and then I got to try and recreate it like I'm sitting on a leather sofa. No, the chair did it. The chair did it. I got to get a leather chair to do this show from now on. Thank you for the likes. And Chris, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Love you guys. Okay, anyways, back to these dipshits.
We did it. We secured the border, and we'll get $50 billion or $80 billion of Ukraine funding because we secured the border, and it'll be garbage. The only thing
Why will it be garbage, Chip? Explain what garbage means.
standing in the way of that being the truth and us changing it is a small group of us willing to try to fight.
Yeah, it's not a fight, dummy. It's a representative government. If you're fighting for this thing, then you haven't convinced everyone that it's important enough to actually win. You're not the fucking Supreme Court. There's 8 of you, and you're in hard red districts, and you're trying to enforce your constituents' extreme needs on everybody fucking else. I don't like it when Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib try to do it, or even AOC when they're in these super safe blue districts and they want to stomp their feet and keep shit from happening because they know they've got a rock solid seat, but it's like a purity test every time. I don't like it when they do it. They do it a lot less, and certainly a lot less these days. But these fuckers don't have any right to do it either. You're not fighting. Democracy is compromise. Grow a fucking brain and get to work.
I will not throw my friends under the bus who want to call the question. I will.
You already called the question, and it failed. It failed. It was an unsuccessful bid. Those rules gave you Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy did what you asked. Kevin McCarthy was unable to do the things you wanted because there's no vote in the Senate. And certainly the president's not going to sign half your shit. Get the fuck out of here and recognize you're a micro minority even amongst your own fucking party.
Stick with my tactical position that I'm not.
Tactical position. Jesus Christ. The fucking dude thinks he's a sniper.
I'm going to currently today agree. I will vote to table the motion because I would give a month to go figure this out heading to Thanksgiving because we've been talking through these things. But we're going to proceed either way, Glenn. We're going to lock arms and figure out how to fight and change this because what the list I just read to you is unacceptable.
Well, it's not unacceptable to 87% of the Congress. Just because it's unacceptable to 80 you motherfuckers, you don't measure up. You do not have the mandate in 8 fucking people holding a weasel. Like, it is literally the razor thin margin that the Republicans have, and the fact that there was no red wave is why these assholes have extra power over the rest of their party. Because if it had been a larger red wave, ironically enough, a lot of that red wave would have been in purplish districts, and those people would have sided with a more sensible vote. The irony is palpable. That's why these fuckers have to lose.
Okay, so
I'm a dumbass. Say that again.
Here's what's going to happen. He won't be removed today, and nothing will happen in the next 45 days. And then, coincidentally, I don't know if you've done the math, but 45 days brings us right up to the holidays. So we're right there at Thanksgiving and Christmas where everything always goes and is buried by Congress at that time. So
I don't know who he's talking about, by the way. They didn't lead off with exactly which person they're talking about. Maybe Scalise?
You know, if you don't get it done this next time in 45 days, it doesn't happen. And then you're going to have to replace him. And here's my question.
Can you kick my ass?
With whom? What is the game plan? Who is it that you are going to, not you, but the good guys that are standing up?
The good guys, you mean the 8 assholes that are shutting down their own party's normal picks the good guys.
Who is it that they're going to get? Because there are people now afraid we could get a Democrat in there.
Well, I wouldn't say we're afraid, but you're getting closer to it, dum-dum. Like, talk about a massive fucking lose. I have no doubt that there are enough, purple district Republicans that might go, you know what? Jeffries, he gentleman's agreement. He's going to, absolutely allow certain things to the floor, even if he doesn't like them, because so I'm willing to throw my vote his way. Yes, Hakeem Jeffries could, I'll be for him, yeah.
Well, that, of course, was the argument last January. I, again, do not support the tactic for the reason you just described, because I believe we need to force the conference to a reckoning, because let's be honest, the speaker reflects the conference. When I read the thing I just read to you this morning in the Republican conference.
You don't have a conference, motherfucker.
Meeting? Crickets. Crickets.
Right. So the speaker should represent the vast majority of people in that conference that think, fuck Chip Roy in his fucking mouth vagina. No. That's why. That if he represents the conference and the conference is going, fuck you, then you shouldn't be picking the fucking speaker at all.
The vast majority of Republicans are totally fine with increasing spending, kicking the can down the road, saying, oh, the next president will save us. Oh, we need to win the Senate. Oh, we need a bigger majority.
Yeah, that is always true. You have a razor-thin margin, motherfucker, and if you didn't have a razor-thin margin, you wouldn't have any control over this caucus at all. They tell you to go fucking pound sand. You'd go back to being Ted Cruz's dick cheese.
Look, I understand the difficulty of the moment. So do you, Glenn.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Glenn, neither you nor I expect us to get every single thing we want in this divided government.
Yes, you did. That's exactly what this 8 number's about.
But at some point, you have to pick a major fight and mean it.
No, you don't. No. I got news for you. Asshat, I don't need my traffic lights fighting with each other. I just need them to go on and off at the proper time so that traffic goes properly, okay? I don't need them to fucking fight over who's redder and who's greener. No, you don't have to pick a fight. You absolutely don't. As a matter of fact, measured change is the healthiest way to implement a lot of the stuff that even these guys want. The problem is they're all in sales, not in product.
Democrats do that all the time.
All the time.
All the time. All the time.
When are we going to pick a major fight and mean it? If we're
Well, there's a difference. That's not fair, though, because Democrats actually have plans that we go after because they are meant to help a lot of people. And so our impetus for doing these things and why we're willing to take incremental change is because we actually care about the lives involved. We're not willing to just kind of, TYT and hyper left asshats aside, the vast majority of us actually want to help people. We're not willing to sacrifice, say, the 24 million people who got insurance under Obamacare and hold our nose and go, unless we get a public option, I'm going against this thing, because those 24 million people fucking matter. And then you increase your wins over time because revolution is the 6-minute abs of democracy.
Going to throw down on the border, and that means accepting some Ukraine spending I would prefer not to, then let's pick that fight. If we need to kill all dollars to Ukraine, and that means we're not going to address the border fast enough, okay, let's pick that fight. I can't get
an erection,
a clear signal from our leadership as to what path we are going to choose to go.
That's because every time you start talking, you insist on one of those two paths, as if they are a binary choice or a reality. Everyone else wants to get on with actual governing that lives up to the time we're actually in, and not pretending this is the fucking mid-90s and all the news stories we're hearing about Israel and Ukraine and Russia fucking around with our elections and China's financial implosion are just myths or stories or some show we're fucking binge watching. That's happening fucking now, dum-dum.
And these fights. So, to answer your question, I'm staying focused on the policy. As we speak this morning, I'm having conversations with senators, people here, trying to figure out how to make sure we define the border security the way it needs to be defined. Had meetings this morning on what we can do to constrain Ukraine spending and make the case for why that's not in our best case international interest. Make the case for...
Which would be what? World War III? Russia's going to nuke us? Is that the story? Is that what you're fucking going with? You're going to let big bad Russia's fear of nukes let them just pour rape squads into any fucking country they choose? Hey, asshole. I notice how these dickheads are all like, Biden gave billions to Iran by letting them sell oil and getting other stuff, and that thereby financed Hamas. Russia's buying arms from them. Isn't that the same thing? Russia's buying and using Iranian oil tankers to get their oil to market. Isn't that the same thing? Because all the $1 billion aside, in one fell swoop about some hostages, which, by the way, is still frozen in an account, the rest of that shit over the last 10 years, and certainly during the Trump administration, was coming through Russia.
Why we need to constrain spending in the appropriations package. I was on the Rules Committee last night, holding the line. A lot of good things have...
If you have to hold the line in your own committee, maybe you're the problem.
...occurred this year. The border bill is phenomenal, right? The bill we put together for Limit, Save, Grow was phenomenal until it got abandoned.
Yes, it was phenomenal. Untested bullshit based on economic theory that is not up to the moment and is completely off the mark and doesn't recognize COVID as the main reason we're financially in the situation that we're in, and thinks that inflation is based on too much money in the supply and would lead to a policy, if it was implemented in the Fed, of something like 15 to 20% in interest rates. But it was phenomenal.
The National Defense Authorization Act is conservative. The DOD appropriations bill is pretty strong. But all of that goes out the window.
Yes. Double our nukes and no drag shows. That'll save money.
So, if you don't finish the job. So my position is finish the job, and we hold it.
Yes, that's what every other Republican who disagrees with you is thinking. You apparently have a different job than they do. Theirs is to apparently try to build some sort of coalition amongst themselves and with the Democrats to pass actual shit. And your job is to throw monkey wrenches.
Accountable. But if they end up vacating today, well, we're going to have to go find a speaker.
So tell me what the speaker's plan is. I mean, he says, 45 days and then we're going to pass all these things. That's such bull crap. I mean, I wanted him to prove me wrong, but I don't believe it. We're going to come down to the end of the 45 days, and they're going to, Republicans want to shut down the Congress, and they're going to fold again.
Well, yeah, because that will be true. And does he sound tipsy? No, he's just, I think it's brain bloat. I don't think he drinks on the job, but I don't know. He was chewing his ice yesterday. And like I said, I think it's just, I don't know. At this point, God knows, with his diet, it could just be that the sugar has started to fester in his gut and turn into alcohol in his system.
What's his plan?
That's adorable.
That is my problem.
These people, Chip Roy is in government, and this motherfucker thinks he should be who picks who's in government. What is the plan? That's my problem. Jesus Christ. We have one. Hand it over to Hakeem Jeffries. He's fucking got one. Biden administration's got one. All the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. Get the fuck on with it, dummy.
And this is what I raised at the conference this morning.
And they went, shut the fuck up. We're working.
And that is the question I continue to force.
Oh, Scalise dropped out. He didn't make it on the first round or whatever. That's hilarious. Is he going to quit? You think everybody who everybody who runs for speaker at this point is just going to have to drop out?
At this point, my tactical choice would be to do what I was doing yesterday and the day before.
Tactical. Stop using military This is Steve Bannon shit drives me crazy. Tactical.
And last week, after the Saturday decision on the 45-day CR, which is sit down and say, Mr. Speaker, we have got to get this done before Thanksgiving. The Democrats, want Ukraine funding more than anything in the world. And we Republicans want border security, and we want to hold down spending at a bare minimum. So what are we going to do to make that happen? He seems to have bet his speakership, if he even survives this week, on accomplishing that objective, holding Ukraine to some level that matches the conference's perspective, spread out over time, with border security attached, and use the appropriations process. Let me give you another example without giving away individual names of a private meeting. An individual who is very conservative / more populist libertarian made an impassioned speech for why our processes and openness is a massive change compared to Boehner and Paul Ryan. But the American people don't care about that, right?
You're right. We do care about the fact that that massive change between Boehner and Paul Ryan is that they actually seem to want things to function, even if it was just so they could get the tax cuts they could brag about.
I mean, they might care a little, but they want
Jesus Christ, this is so lame.
Results. But this is moving the Titanic around. The reason you all know a lot of what's happening is because we've opened it up. We've exposed it. We're telling you in real time.
Yeah, and nobody's convinced, motherfucker. You can't even convince your own fucking conference.
Right. We're forcing votes. We're having amendments. But we're not getting the results we want because our conference, frankly, isn't strongly conservative enough, and the Senate sucks. So we're...
Oh, you mean the people who've gotten elected a lot more times than you have by the same people over and over and over again, even in a House seat, and then moved on to the Senate, but they suck. But you know what the fuck's up? All right.
Trying to manage through that process and get to a result where we actually cut spending, actually hold the supplementals, actually reduce or restrict, constrain Ukraine, actually secure the border. I haven't given up on that, even though you and I are both as cynical and frustrated as you would expect at this moment.
Boy.
So, Chip, first of all, I don't want you to feel my frustration is pointed to you at all, because I prayed for you.
Yeah. The government sucks, except for every representative of the government that comes on my show who's some sort of magic true believer, even if they have been in office for a long fucking time. But not you. Obviously, you're trying to do the right thing and get things done by not doing fucking anything.
This weekend, thinking he has got to be just beside himself, because I know how hard you're working on this.
Yeah, he's not working smart, but...
Have you...
Yeah, doorknobs are difficult for Chip Roy. Working hard is not an answer.
Been struggling at all with...
with erectile dysfunction?
Am I being duped? Am I being...
You mean like your viewers go through every single day? I'm kidding. They wouldn't come back if they had the mental acuity to actually run that thought experiment in their head, Glenn.
I mean, because I know I would if I were you. I would probably do exactly...
Yeah, but that's because you're a paranoid asshole with a terrible diet that makes your brain function very poorly, and probably little... molecules of congealed fat are bouncing around that have somehow busted through the blood-brain barrier and gone, oh my God, why did I bother bursting through this when there's no brain there?
Exactly what you're doing now, because it seems reasonable to me. But I feel like I would be saying, yeah, but I mean, why should I trust them?
So,
fucko. You do realize they write these bills down, They don't just vote on the title of something. He's on the committees. You can read what's in shit. What? This asshole thinks that Chip Roy has voted for things that he didn't know what was in them. Because, and he probably has, but only on the Republican side, because he just doesn't care. It's got their name on it. Boom.
You shouldn't, and I don't. I trust no one for the most part.
What? Are you fucking insane? What are you just like staring at your staff all day? What was your name again? What the fuck? Yeah, it's me. It's Sarah. I work here every day. Is it? Is it? Is it? What's in that envelope? Mail. Oh, all right. So there's a man. I'm supposed to believe there's a man in that envelope. Oh, U.S. mail. Oh, he's an American. Well, that's supposed to make me feel better. Sarah, is that, what was your name again? Sarah. How'd you get in here? What do you mean the door was open? What was who left the door open? Oh, I left the door open, right. Well, tell you what, I'm going to go stand in the parking lot. You call the bomb squad, and they'll explode that envelope. Because I don't trust anyone. What do you mean it's a letter from my mother? My mother isn't... where's my mother? What was your name again? I don't trust anyone. How did I get here? You took a cab. I did no such thing.
In this town, particularly people who have been here for a long time, we are in the process, in my opinion, of breaking this town and creating coalitions in which we can trust each other. I'm talking right now to my
What the fuck does that mean?
colleagues that I disagree with a little bit on their timing and tactics because I respect what they're trying to do.
Dude. Really? 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 Didn't he just tell you you shouldn't? They're probably trying to dupe you. They're not doing these tactics just because they have a different plan. They don't want what you want. You don't trust anyone, right, Sarah? Oh my God, you're not Sarah. Oh yes, you are. Are you Sarah? What's that? Christmas card. Get the fuck out of here. It's not. Oh yeah.
There are colleagues that I have who don't respect what they're trying to do. They think it's
What they're trying to do themselves. I'm in a bit of a pronoun hell with you.
about showboating or grandstanding or fundraising.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Matt? You mean you?
It's not. Yeah, they might grandstand and they might raise money. That's politics. But at the end of the day, it's...
Oh, there it is. At the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's nighty-night bye-bye time.
because they're tired of watching the same old and the status quo. Again, Glenn, I want to reiterate to all the listeners out there who are going, well, Chip, why won't you join them? Well, I might at some point. The issue here is how do we now...
Then we can't trust you. Now that you've joined them. I mean, it's the fucking invasion of the body snatchers caucus at this point. Seriously. All right.
Navigate from right now to a place where we can go try to get a victory for the American people. Our country can't wait 16 months for Donald Trump or...
Yeah, Donald Trump's not going to be here in 16 months. He's not going to, no. He's not, sorry, he's not going to be president. I'm sorry.
Ron DeSantis or anyone else to get in and shake things up in the White House without massive damage. So for me, I want to get a victory for the people, not just a political victory. So that list...
Well, then why are you a politician? If you want a real victory for the American people, go be the next Elon Musk fuckwad. Go invent something that changes all of our lives. Get out of government. Government can't do anything, right? Didn't you listen to Ronald Reagan? Go fuck off and start your fucking Hobby Lobby for inventors.
I read crickets. Your conference, your Republican conference. I want every listener out there to know, while they're moving in the right direction, at the end of the day, they're
I'm at the end of my rope. This end of the day shit.
Flex is still to be totally okay with increased spending, totally okay with, well, we might have to deal with the border at some point, totally okay with more money for Ukraine because Putin bad. And so I'm just telling you, you get the speaker that reflects the conference. Some of us are trying to shift that.
All right. Notice you want to talk about a shift. Notice where he went. The speaker should reflect the conference. And then now he's like, the speaker's, if we're not careful, the speaker's going to represent the conference, meaning the people of the fucking country. Lord almighty.
And it doesn't happen as fast as you or I or your listeners would like.
Well, it doesn't sound like an extremist to me. It sounds
That's because you're stupid.
Like a constitutionalist and somebody who is trying to think it out. When you say crickets, I just want to make sure I understand. Not because they were shocked by it, like, oh crap, we're in trouble, but because they didn't see a problem with it.
Well, I would state it this way. In fact,
they recognize there's a problem, but they also know that Chip Roy's solutions are worse than the problem itself. So everyone just stands there going, "Is this motherfucker serious?" Because the reason there's crickets is because they're too polite to say, "Sit the fuck down and shut up."
one member got up to the mic and said, we can't address those things until we have the White House. To which I say, poppycock. That's just not true.
You said poppycock in polite company? And what did Poppy do? I mean, standing there with his dick out, and you just mention it?
We can't do them all. Look, Glenn, I mean, I can't possibly say you and I, with the 221 majority, can kill Ukraine, fully secure the border.
No.
Whoa. I'm sorry, you can what, Ukraine?
Gut spending the level.
Hold on. Back the fuck up.
21 majority can kill Ukraine, fully secure the border.
No.
Gut spending the levels.
Jesus Christ. Not kill Ukraine spending, not kill Ukraine overspending, just kill Ukraine. Hey, asshole, maybe that's why you're hearing crickets every time you talk, because you're quiet part louding it in conference, and you don't have as many friends as you think you do.
You and I would do it. Fire Mayorkas, impeach Biden. Like, I get it. But can we get one of those damn things?
No, you fucking can't.
One?
No, it's not a fucking contest. All of those things have a downside that's absurd.
Right? Give me an actual spending cut that I can go be proud of.
No. You're in a micro minority of your own fucking party. The reason you're downwind from all this horse shit is because that's where you belong.
Don't give me more bullcrap supplemental spending. Actually secure the border, and don't give me your well, it's got to be a bicameral, bipartisan bill or we'll never get it through. Got to get a gang of. No, kiss my ass. You want Ukraine funding? Then give me the border. Okay? All right. You
Nope.
don't want to cut that deal? Then fine.
And by the way, Democrats just want more surveillance and technological advancements at the border instead of just a fucking barrier and dudes who are paid year-round to stand there getting sunburned.
Zero out Ukraine funding. Like, give me a win that we can go.
No. You lose. Good day, sir.
The American people have said we fought for you and we won.
No. All right, and this is it. This is the whole fucking thing. This is the whole fucking thing. This is exactly it. Notice how this asshole recognizes that he needs to go sell something to his constituents. And so he's holding the rest of his entire party hostage so that he can go say, I got to win. It's not even about the substance of those wins. He just does, and he doesn't care which one it is. He can just go down there and wave a flag. This might not, but I did this one thing. I forced them to do this. All the negative ramifications from it, all the dead Ukrainians, all the, any of that shit, it doesn't matter to him because he can hold it up as I forced them to do this, therefore reelect me by this, in this tiny little fucking district.
That's what I'm trying to tell the conference. Some are
right, and the rest of them are going, yeah, if we do that for you, 27 of us will lose our fucking jobs. For every win Chip Roy gets, 30 fucking Republicans will lose their seat in a bunch of other houses in the next election. Because they're not in these, Ted Cruz hyper red fucking fake rural districts.
there.
You're asking your fellow Republicans to lose their next election. That's what he's doing. And he just does not either give a shit or isn't aware.
I got a whole lot of text messages in that room saying, hey, I thank you for saying that. But you know what? That still doesn't get us there.
Right. Thanks for saying that, because if I wasn't going to say it, and now that you've said it, I can at least go, hey, I'm not him.
Because the conference has to be moved. You guys are moving them. Don't give up. Hold the line. But don't roast everybody in a stupid social media.
Oh, you should roast them. I think roasting them is a good idea. Thanks for the tip, Chip.
Attack because you don't agree with the tactical play, right? Chip Roy's a rhino. Fine, call me a rhino. I don't give a damn. What I'm saying is don't go after Gates for being a showboat, and don't go after Chip Roy for being a rhino.
No, I think they're more focused on the fact that he might be a pedophile rapist and a person who drugs women and has sex with them while they're unconscious. That's a bigger concern. And that they're not even women, that they're girls, they're underage. Also is a factor that he's like the representative of Epstein's Island in a lot of ways. That seems to be the concern that a lot of them have about him and his fucking face.
I know, because we disagree on the tactics. Well, you've got a block of people from the 20, and it's growing, who are fed up. And that doesn't get you much, but it gets...
Right. Doesn't get you anything, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, it keeps Steve Scalise, a guy who took a fucking bullet for your party, like at one vote to be speaker and have to drop out. Dude had blood cancer, or does. And you're like, fuck it.
You a lot when you talk about we're building a momentum here. Don't lose faith.
Yeah, guys, there's 16 of us. If we really hold it together, we'll get maybe 19, just enough to completely fuck our party enough where 35 of our fellow Republicans will side with Democrats and make Hakeem Jeffries the speaker. Keep at it.
We're years into this mess in Washington, and we don't have the White House and we don't have the Senate.
Right, and you had it at one point, and people went, what the fuck?
We had 221 in the freaking House. So we're trying to move the needle. I am not going to lay down on this. I'm not going to allow them to roll over us with Ukraine funding without getting border security.
Man, he really does hammer that shit.
Ukraine funding has got to be cut. We got to...
Why the fuck? This dude has got a hard-on for Vladimir Putin.
Offset supplementals. These are the fights we need to have right now, and we got to keep fighting.
Chip, I'm out of time. I just need a simple answer. How many votes do they need to oust him today?
I don't 100% know, because I don't know how many Democrats are here, and the denominator matters.
Okay.
I think you're going to get, 7 or 8 who will be, who will vote no to table, and then we get to the motion to vacate. We may be in a position where we're choosing a new speaker. We'll see what happens in the next 3 hours.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that didn't happen, by the way. It failed miserably. Yeah, it's like fucking stupid. Watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. He put that clip up, by the way. That's something that came from actual the Blaze, Glenn Beck's own thing. They thought that discussion had value. Yeah, they thought that exchange between those two men on the air was worth a fuck, and it certainly is not. I know what you're thinking. A fuck has worth in and of itself. I agree, but yeah. Good Lord, yeah. Talk about fart air.